Wilson Alexander from the Advocate. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing all right. There's been a lot of talk from Coach Jones about how this is really the year he wants to see you and Ty kind of break out. When you hear stuff like that from your coach, just what does it do to your approach and your mindset, if anything, and just sort of how are you approaching this third year in the program?
Well, when I hear things like that, it gives me more motivation, and I'm sure it gives Tyrion motivation as well. And it's just it's not too much pressure. I just feel like this is my upcoming third year, and I just feel like I have to hold up to a certain standard, and I've been more focused throughout my upcoming in my third year. Other than my last 2 years. So, I've grown, and I feel like, this team that we have this year is about to be very successful. So.
Hey, John, Jacques here from WAFB in Baton Rouge. When I think about you, I always think about that run you made against Alabama, who obviously was the best team in the country last year. What do you remember about that run, and what is it going to take to, have more of those kind of electric moments this year?
Well, with that run, the O-line blocked it perfectly, and the wide receivers as well. When the team come together and, do their job, you're always going to have a successful play, So when everybody do their job, everything works out perfectly.
John, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Just for you, I know you mentioned you wanted to be more focused, I guess, heading into this year. What were some of the off-season focuses in terms of improving your game that you wanted to see out of yourself? I mean, just what are some of the things you really worked on?
Well, mainly I worked on catching and route running. Also, reading coverages of the defense and the different fronts. I mainly just wanted to be an all-around back, because knowing that we was going to have, the spread offense and, Coach Peace was going to come in and kind of change it up just a tad bit. I just wanted to make sure I can provide in every area, as far as being a running back, running the ball, and catching the ball as well. So.
Hey, John, this is Garland Gillen at Fox 8 in New Orleans. John, your first year, you had 39 carries total in that first year. You probably could have got that against Holmville in your senior year. How tough was it to be patient when you're used to being the guy and you're used to getting the ball monster times a game, like when you're a Destrehan and coming to LSU? How do you keep yourself patient from being the big guy on campus at Destrehan at LSU?
Well, when I first started playing in high school, I didn't just roll into high school and just started playing immediately. I had to be patient in high school as well. So, I've been through being patient process, and, I really sat back and I observed and I learned, and I'm grateful that I came in, with a championship team, and me being a part of that team, I took in a lot, and, I know what a championship team looks like, and, I just sat back. It was amazing. It was greatness at its finest. So.
Hey, John, this is Josh Sidley with Louisiana Veteran Football. You talked about motivation earlier and route running and everything. Max mentioned yesterday that he has seen you working with Coach Falk on your route running, and even watching linebackers come down in pass blocking and everything. Can you talk a little bit about that, and also how that motivates you, and how that has set you apart, maybe in the running back room with your pass pro?
Well, Coach Falk, he's been in the game. He was in the game for a long time. He's always giving great advice, as far as pass protection and, running routes. He did that. He was that type of back. He was an all-around back as well. And, he understands it. That's the advantage of having a coach that actually played football and, that actually has the feel of things. As far as I feel like, just from my past 2 years, my pass protection has got has gotten way better than the last 2 years. And, you know, as far as my route running, you know, and also just not Kevin Fault, you know, Coach Fault helping me out as far as with routes, but, you know, the wide receiver coach as far as Coach Carter and, you know, Mickey Joseph, they helping me out as well, you know. But, you know, Kevin Fault, when he played with Tom Brady, he was mainly running routes too, you know, and catching the ball in the backfield. And, you know, just with every little thing that I do, he helps out, so.
Hey, John, this is Shay Dixon with 24/7. Coach Pete's came from an offense that had Christian McCaffrey. You're talking about wanting to be that all-around type back. Have y'all talked about that, or, you know, has he talked about the role that Christian had and what he wants to see from you?
Yes, of course. He, you know, he always brings up Christian McCaffrey, and you know, he showed me a couple of clips of him running the choice route and, you know, his runs, you know, and he says I can be just like Christian, you know. He says I kind of remind him as Christian McCaffrey. So, you know, like, just me, he actually showed me clips of Christian McCaffrey as soon as he came in. And just me seeing that, I just knew it was going to be a perfect fit. And, you know, I actually love, you know, the offense that we have right now. So.
Hey, John, you said, excuse me, earlier that, you know, that you've grown over the course of your career. How would you kind of compare the player and person you are now to the one who came into LSU a couple of years back? Sort of what have been the key developmental points over the last couple of years?
Well, you know, I would say just studying the game more, watching more film. You know, now I feel like I watch more film and I study myself and my opponents more. You know, now I feel like every little thing that I do wrong, I know now because, you know, just how much I've learned. And, you know, when my coach is telling me my wrongdoings, it's just, you know, I just feel like that's where I've grown at the most, you know, knowing what, you know, my wrongs at and just knowing how to right my wrongs. As far as it could sometimes be a bad read or running the route the wrong way or just, you know, really anything or like just pass protection. Like, I just feel like I can notify that myself. So, you know, that's the big key of me growing as a player within this year.
Hey, John, you mentioned Kevin Faulk a while ago. Obviously, Tyree is wearing that number 3, and those two guys are interacting every day and everything. It seems like it's important for Tyree to live up to the reputation of that number. What's their relationship like, and what's Tyree want to accomplish this year, you think?
Well, you know, the relationship between him and Coach Faulk is, you know, is outstanding. You know, Tyrion has so much respect, and he's a very respectful young man. He asked Kevin Faulk, Coach Faulk, if he can wear number 3 before he actually came to LSU. So, you know, it's just, you know, me and Tyrion, we are very, you know, influenced by Coach Faulk, you know, just off the things he did. And, you know, of course, Tyrion, he wants to be the best, and that's what brings out the, you know, the competition in me and him. And Tyrion, he has a lot of goals, you know, so he's locked in, and I just can't wait for, you know, Tyrion to do his thing this year. So.
Yeah, John, Tiger Rag, writing in Tiger Rag magazine. What was it like last year, the first time you stepped on the field after having LASIK surgery? I mean, as far as field vision, was it like a whole new world for you?
It actually was. The LASIK surgery, it helped out so much as far as me catching the ball because, you know, I had LASIK surgery in my right eye. It was just in one eye, and, you know, that played a huge factor in me catching the ball. Like, I couldn't see. Like, I had to use my one eye when I had to catch the ball to the right. So it was just, you know, it helped me lock in on the ball easily. You know, sometimes when the ball would be at a certain distance, I couldn't see it until I got the LASIK surgery. And it helped out as far as me, and also as far as me, you know, going through my reads and seeing blitzes coming, it just helped out a lot as far as my whole vision on the field. So,
John, when did you have that surgery?
I had this surgery. It was right after the 2019 season. I would say it probably was in January or December, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was around that time, though.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Good job. Hey, Elias, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. Nice to finally get to meet you. I guess just for you, what has been the focus, I guess, primarily this offseason in terms of development, I guess, on the field and, I guess, with your body as well?
Really with my body, obviously just getting my shoulder right after missing the spring, just trying to stay healthy, and with the defense, really just getting closer to the team. That's kind of what we focus on the most, really just getting a lot closer, and got real close to Darante Jones, great defensive coordinator, and so that's just really been our main focus right now.
Hey, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. First thing real quick, do you prefer Eli or Elias?
I go by Eli, but really whatever you want to call me, really.
Gotcha. Yeah, obviously you had such a big freshman year. What did you kind of learn most about your game and yourself throughout that freshman season?
Really just how much technique mattered last year and how much of a difference that it made from coming in as a freshman just raw, and then with the technique that I had, and really just focusing on the plays and just dialing in and relying on my technique that I practice hard on.
Eli, Brody Miller with The Athletic. Derek's somebody who probably understands where you're at right now because he also, as a freshman, broke out.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, are there conversations you two have or advice he's been able to give you about kind of going from a great freshman year into year two?
Me and him talk about that every day almost. Everything I need advice for, I always come to him and ask him because he's already done it before. So, and he's done things I have aspirations of, and we push each other a lot, so all the time.
Yeah, Eli, Ron Higgins, Tiger Rag. How much is it an advantage to play with Derek in the sense that quarterbacks want to go away from front of him, but they also want to go away from front of you, so they kind of have to pick their poison, so teams are going to come at you. Is that an advantage for you?
Yeah, it definitely is. With two corners like us, the quarterback's going to have to throw it one way, and, me and him really work hard to keep our games top tier, so, yeah.
Last year, were you I know Derek missed some games, but it seemed like teams went at you all year. Was that a surprise? Because all year you kind of proved yourself. You had pick sixes and you proved yourself, but teams kept coming at you. Did you kind of like that?
I really wanted all the kind of balls I could get really last year. So, last year I wanted kind of the most experience I could get. We had a 10-game season, so I really wanted all the opportunities I could get. So I wasn't pretty surprised, being a freshman, and obviously having Derek Stingley on the other side of me helps a lot, even with him down. But, I really kind of expected it a little bit.
Hey, Elias, just one more from me. You mentioned Darante Jones earlier this interview. I was just wondering, one of the big reasons he was brought in is to kind of help improve that communication back there in the secondary for you guys. And one of the things he told us back in the spring was that he wanted to kind of join the safeties and cornerbacks a little bit more together and get them kind of on the right page. I'm curious as to how that development has gone, the communication part of all this from obviously last year to this year.
Yeah, we're with each other every day in the same meeting room, going over everything, and practice and walkthroughs, we're reviewing everything, slowing it down, going over corrections, making sure we're all on the same page. So the communication is much clearer now, and it's a lot better.
Hey Eli, this is Shay Dixon with 24/7. Your stats as a freshman looked pretty similar to the type of stats you were putting up in high school with the pick sixes and interceptions. Was there a time where it kind of clicked that you were settling in, or did you kind of expect after the offseason that you were ready?
I definitely expected a big year, but I would say it probably clicked around that South Carolina game. Just overall I felt, just as a player, just felt kind of all the way kind of getting tapped in. I was learning everything weekly, and every new week I was learning something new. So, but I'd probably say by South Carolina game, it started getting kind of easier for me, and I started locking in.
Hey, Eli Jacques from WAFB here in Baton Rouge. If you and Derek hold things down on the corner and this defensive line is as nasty and deep as what we're hearing, what is the potential of this LSU defense this year?
The best defense in the country. That's what I mean. Sky's the limit, and that's what our aspirations are. So we want to be the best defense in the country.
And on a humorous note, you scored 2 touchdowns last year, and there might have been a little celebration before both. Did Corey Raymond talk to you a little bit, or what was the discussion on it?
Oh yeah, he for sure talked to me about it after. It was just real impulsive. I did not plan it before, but I was just real excited, So scoring a touchdown in Tiger Stadium, my first one, and then the other one, I was just real excited to get it. So that's where that came from.
Eli, you sophomores obviously maybe had the toughest situation of anyone because you went into college during a pandemic. Your entire first year was like that. So I guess just how would you describe how challenging the past, 15 months have been for you?
It was definitely a big adjustment, but just listening to the coaches and everybody here at LSU on staff, they kind of have helped make it a little bit easier. But I would say without the help from them, I would be lost, because it was pretty hard year on just the whole world in general. So, but being able to just get through and focus on the things that we need to, nothing is impossible.
Thank you, Eli.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
All right, Andre, how's it going? Just asked Austin about it, and it sounds like the defensive line did really well in the scrimmage. So, I guess just kind of what do you think you guys did so well, and where would you evaluate you guys are at compared to where you want to be?
I definitely think we're getting there. We strive for perfection, so we always try to find something to get better at every day. The scrimmage we did really good. We came out there as a group and just did our thing. We did what we were supposed to help the defense out. Came in with a mindset and Coach Andre, he challenged us to set the tone. And that's what we did, and we just fed off the energy, and the whole defense just really kind of fed off our energy as a D-line as a whole. So that's what we kind of strive for. We the front men of the whole defense. So we try to set that tempo, that tone.
Hey, Andre Jacques from WAFB here in Baton Rouge. Speaking of Austin, he says you guys are so deep. It's almost like you can take one D-line and put in a whole other group and not miss a step. So how deep is the D-line at this point?
Deep in every position. At defensive end, nose, tackle, we are definitely deep. And like Austin, that's what we strive ourselves on. It should be no difference. If somebody gets out of the game, it should be the same thing. It shouldn't lack in no area. Like when somebody else gets out, it's the same thing. We're all starters. You know what I'm saying? So. And that's what we try to harp on all the time. You know what I'm saying? It should be no different. It shouldn't be in a case where if somebody else gets in, it's like, okay, we're going to attack them. Like, no, we're all the same. You can't. There's no weakness, no weak links. So.
Hey, Andre, this is Josh Sidley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Coach O said you guys obviously shined during the scrimmage. What knowledge has Coach Carter imparted on you? And have you actually had a chance yet to sit down with Coach Jones and kind of pick his brain?
Coach Andre just, me being one of the veterans in the room, just taking control of that room, man. I've been here for a while, so I kind of know how it goes, So just being a leader, that vocal leader, leading by example, whatever the case may be, and just showing them, how it goes. And whether if I'm making plays, they feeding off me. Or shoot, look, if I make a play, one of them want to make a play. Now it's my turn. One of them like, look, I'm next. I'm coming too. So we just kind of feed off of each other's energy, and that's all. Credit to Coach Carter. That's how he told us. That's how it's supposed to be. We feed off of each other's energy. And as far as Coach Jones, man, we had a meeting in spring and just sat down and picked his brain a little bit, and we talked about how stuff is in the league and stuff, and what he had planned for the defense, and what he needed from me as a leader. And it was a great meeting, a great meeting, a real good meeting.
Andre, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. I wanted to ask you about a couple of freshmen who maybe have flown a little bit under the radar. Darante Jones and Bryce Langston. Just what have you seen from those two guys as they've gotten to campus? And obviously they could maybe get buried a little bit under the deep depth chart, but their future outlook with this program.
Oh, they definitely have a future. Both of them came in, picked up quick. They definitely picked up quick as far as like the defenses. The things that we do up front, they picked up on it quick, and they learn fast. So that's a good thing. But they are definitely guys who definitely could help us during the season, and definitely could be players who could be big time players in the future.
Hey, Andre Wilson, Alexander from The Advocate. Sort of following up what we were talking about earlier with the depth along the defensive line. Y'all seem to have so much confidence in your whole group there. Is it come from the depth at those positions, or is there something else where that confidence originates from?
It's just that bond. That's really the confidence in it. It's that bond that we have with each other. Just being able to trust each other. That's really the main thing. And throughout the week, it was just like we stayed on each other, man. And Saturday, it just all came together. Saturday, just we like, okay, we got something going for the defensive line. Like it's definitely something there. The way we played, we fed off the energy we brought. It's like it's definitely something there. So now it's just like building off of that, and just correcting the things that we need to correct, and to become even more better as a defensive line as a whole.
Andre, obviously BJ forgot last year as a pass rusher and all that. But where's just he at as becoming, like more of a 3-down complete player? Because I guess where would you evaluate him right now? I
mean, BJ is good. Like I said, we all pride ourselves on not really so much having a weak link. We all can play all the downs. Of course there's people who who have things they got to work on, just like I have stuff that I need to work on. But I think he's going to be a great player for us this year and next year. However long he's here, he's definitely going to be. Well as guys like the young guys like Mason, J-Roy, they're all guys who can definitely contribute with us.
Hey Andre, this is Garland at Fox 8 in New Orleans. You just mentioned Mason's name. Austin said he was gifted, he was a freak. Can you kind of give us your own thoughts on what Mason brings, since he's only been in the program a short period of time and he's definitely made an impact on your line?
Man, he's definitely a freak, man. He's different. He brings something to the table. Coming in as a freshman is just like you don't see too many times, and it's very rare that you see those type of guys that come in and you just natural ability. That's all it is. It's natural ability. He's one of those guys you can't tweak too much because you don't want to just mess up that natural ability. You know what I'm saying? You just try to find areas that you can look. This can help your game a little bit better if you add this to it. But he's definitely one of those guys, man. Great player, a great person. He listens, takes coaching well. He wants to get better. He wants to get better. So that's another good thing about him. Great character dude. That's a bright future for him.
Andre Wilson, Alexander from The Advocate again. Behind you at the inside linebacker spot, Coach O said that they were going to try to kind of play all 4 guys, and there would be a lot of rotation. How do those sort of 4, Buck Strong, Jared Small, Dumont Clark, and Micah kind of complement each other? And how's it going, just having all that rotation at that spot right now?
Man, they're all ballers. They're all ballers. Same thing with like we said with the defensive line. You don't want it to be no weakness when somebody gets out. It's the same thing, and that's the same thing with them. Whether who's in, they're rotating or whatever the case may be. It's just the same, and they're a great group, a very large group. It's a lot of them, but they're definitely some guys who are going to be great for us and could help us out a lot. So.
Thanks, Andre. Austin, how's it going? I guess
How you doing?
It sounded like the defensive line had a solid scrimmage. So I guess just kind of what was your outlook on maybe what the advantage they had, or just what you saw from Saturday?
I mean, yeah, they got the better day out of us. Looking back on it, we just didn't do certain things as well as we thought we've been doing the past week. And we saw it. We made our corrections. We've been learning.
yesterday we went out, we executed, and we've been learning from our mistakes. So, but all props to them. They came out first scrimmage. They came out great, like everyone knew they would. So,
Hey, Austin, how you doing, man?
how you doing?
Good, good. Look, just working against that defensive line.
Yeah.
How deep are those guys this year?
Deep. It seems like they do a rotation every 2-3 snaps, and like it always seems like I have to be on my feet like thinking, which is very beneficial for like the offensive line, like going up against such like different, more adverse like looks, to where I could be going against BJ, I could be going against Ali, I could be going against Sony. Then the D tackles, we have all the D tackles as well. So they usually do. I don't really know their mix up or like their amount of reps that they do, but I know I go against all of them, and I'll just look up. I'm like, oh, I guess it's a new person this time. So, but we're extremely deep on that defensive line. I believe so.
And Big Neil Farrell, he's a guy like you guys have been around forever, right? What kind of guy is he?
Oh, Neil's a clown in the locker room, but one of the most hardworking guys on the team as well. He's really came a far away since his freshman year. He's been putting in that work over each and every year. He's been doing great things on and off the field. He actually just graduated, so shout out to Neil. He's one of the graduates on the team, so we got some more. So but overall he's been having a great fall camp. He had a great fall camp. He had a great spring, and really everything's looking up for Neil Farrell. I'm really excited. So.
Hey, Austin, this is Garland Gill in Fox 8 New Orleans. Keeping with the defensive line,
Right.
you see Mason Smith throughout the spring and the fall. I think Neil told me yesterday that he don't even realize that guy's a freshman anymore.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk a little more about what you've seen from Mason there? And it seems like he's going to get a lot of playing time early in his career.
I believe so. He's very gifted. He's a gifted athlete. He's a freak. Everyone knows how big of a name he was coming out of high school, and he really hasn't sold himself short. He's been living up to the hype that is Mason Smith. He's been doing great things for us. He's really giving all of us good looks, and he's helping like some of the older guys get better. And I believe, he's going to get a lot of playing time. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Hey, Austin, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? Kind of a random question here. Maybe y'all haven't even gotten to this yet, but there's new overtime rules in college football where y'all have to go for 2 a lot more often.
Okay.
That's what y'all have.
That would have helped in 2018.
It's something like you have to implement more 2-point plays, or is it just like you have the plays that you have and you run them just closer to the goal line?
I mean, that's more of a short yardage situation, short yards and red zone. So basically the same things that we would do in that aspect of the game is more of the stuff that we would do with that. And just, I guess, it's just more of that, like near the grit, you got to get it type situation. But, that too, I just saw that would have helped a lot back in 2018 whenever, the whole 7 overtime game. So, but we're not going to speak on that.
Hey, Austin, this is Glenn West from LSU Country. Hope you're doing well.
Doing well.
We were talking with Max the other day, and we asked him about Cole Taylor.
Yeah.
And he said that he's been kind of the pass blocking tight end or the blocking tight end of the 2 that are really being considered for that spot. I'm curious maybe what you've seen from him from a blocking perspective, and then also just his overall development as a player this time.
For Cole Taylor is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people this season. A lot of people don't think that Cole Taylor is going to be the player that he's going to be by the end of this season. He's going to be opening a lot of eyes. He's going to have his name on a lot of boards, top tight end possibly, But coming into his shell, coming out of high school, he was more of that lanky body type, But now he got in that weight room. He's ate this good, Louisiana food, helped him gain a little bit of pounds here and there, but all good weight as well. But really, overall in his game, he's got more aggressive in the run game, and then also in the pass. He's not also going to be just a pass block tight end. He also can get downfield. He's tall. He's about 7'2" almost, it looks like in pass some days. But he's up there. He can go up and he can make those contested catches. So he's going to be a very dual threat guy for us.
Austin, Max was telling us that he really wanted to improve, the communication motivation, affections, checks, all that. I mean, he is still a young guy. How have you seen him just kind of step into that part of it, that mental part of that position?
He's coming into his own shell in the aspect of just being able, like, you know, sometimes when we have to run more of a like certain situations call for a faster like tempo of an offense, like just trying to do that. And then he's back there. He's telling everyone like, come on, and like rallying all the guys, and then keeping us in line, and also just on the sideline, if there's something else that's like, if he messes up, he'll come up to me like, oh, my bad. He's taking a lot of accountability for things that he might mess up, and even some things that he didn't mess up personally. It's just, and we all like congregate together. We all talk together. Like, it's just from the offensive line to quarterback, and that relationship just, I see him just being more open to just hearing like what all the other guys have to say, which is going to help him in his game as well, and he's just becoming a greater leader. So.
Austin, I guess following up on Max, we heard who was we were talking to mentioned that he's a very fierce ping pong player. Have you encountered this at any point, or is that kind of where his competitiveness really comes out off the field?
Personally, I have not. I'll take this chance to challenge him. You know, I'm not very good, but I'll see what I can do against him. Max, I'm coming for you on the ping pong table. But like I've seen him do it. I've seen him play a couple times. He looks pretty legit. I'm more of a, you know, pop it shot, shooting the basketball, or doing tic-tac-toe. We got a little tic-tac board in the locker room, but yeah, I haven't experienced it yet. I'm gonna go after him though. I'm gonna see how I can do. I'll let y'all know next week.
Hey, Austin, Jared Roser, TypeDetails.com. You've been here long enough to see the ups and downs of not just the team, but also offensive line, good years, bad years, or I mean, less good years certainly. How pivotal do you guys feel like this group is? How much do you talk about that, take that to heart, those sort of things?
I mean, just like you said, with that experience, I have like seen the ups and downs, and I've seen what it takes to do the things that were considered like the up season for the offensive line, and I've seen the things that we didn't do whenever we were down, you know, and just being able to have that experience, and like with my like experience so far, just looking how we came. I believe today is like day 10 of fall camp. I believe like everybody in the room has done a great job of just maturing and just taking that leadership role that, and I told the guys this like after the third or fourth day, like nobody has a role bigger than the other person in the O-line room, you know? Like I'm a guy, like I mess up sometimes, but at the end of the day, I want to take accountability for it, and I'm going to have other people that are going to help me be accountable as well, to hold me to a higher standard. And then at the end of the day, it's just all five just keeping it tight. Like we have a little board in the room, keeping it tight and just holding everyone accountable and making sure we all do our job, you know.
Hey, Austin, this is Shay Dixon with 24/7. Max called Corey Kiner and Armani the next wave of thunder and lightning.
Right, yeah.
How would you describe those two now that you've gotten to see them across, you know, summer and fall camp?
I would definitely say electric. I totally agree with that. Definitely electric. Both of them have been making crazy highlight type plays, you know. They both, Armani, great running back. And then Corn, another great one. They're going to do so much for us. And the crazy thing is that they're only freshmen. It's amazing for just telling this to LSU fans, all the LSU fans out there. They have a lot of good years coming with those two in the backfield. So, y'all have a good one. Take it easy.